Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the first market close of 2025. Holy banana bread. It's been actually the last market close was on Christmas Eve. So, oh wow, it's been a while. Just so happens that those Wednesdays lined up with holidays. So, Christmas and New Year's. So, yeah, this is our first of the year. It's really good to be back. Um, looking forward, looking forward. I had to change the thumbnail. When I made the thumbnail this afternoon for today's show, we were in the red. We were absolutely in the red, but the market turned around, got us back into the green. So yeah, it is officially a green day on the TSX, unless something crazy happens in the last 15 minutes. But I have a feeling that that's not going to be the case. All right, as usual, guys, let's jump right into the market. As you can see here, we do have a green TSX. We're up 0.37%. The blue line is back for January. So this here is our break-even point for January. As long as we stay above that blue line, we have a green market, and we currently have a green market on the month as well. So that's not too shabby, in my opinion. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. The S&P 500 also in the green today, not by much. They've been flirting with the red most of the day. They're up 0.05, but a different story on the month. As you see the blue line here, the S&P 500 is having a red January thus far. So they're down a little bit. They're down a little bit. Looking at the Nasdaq right now, they're technically in the red. They're down 0.02, but you might as well say it's mostly flat. It's mostly flat today. I did add the blue line for the Nasdaq as well. So the Nasdaq is currently just by a little bit into a green January. So we'll have to see if they can hold on as we move through the month. And of course, we all know this month is going to be absolutely crazy. We got a lot of interesting stimuli coming at us this month. So that's not too shabby. Dow Jones is in the green today. They are up 0.11. I have not added a blue line to the Dow Jones, but maybe before the next show, I'll add one. Gold is up 0.46. Silver is up 0.21. WTI, oh boy, it's down a little bit, down 1.19%. And Bitcoin. Yikes. Bitcoin not having a couple of good days. After Bitcoin, of course, moved once again above the 100K, we get a little bit of a sell-off, and we weren't even stopped by the moving averages. So we've pushed through that. We're sitting down here around 93K. So could be interesting. I have heard a few Bitcoin specific analysis saying we're going to have a big dump and then a huge pump. Well, this is kind of a big dump. So we'll have to see if they're right. We'll watch this as we move through the week, of course. That reminds me, guys, if you want a Friday show for supers of any kind, and we're definitely there. Also, the subscriber sponsored video is still up for grabs. Nobody has grabbed that yet. So if you do want a specific ETF, or it can be an ETF or a company deep dived, or you want a specific video, it's up for grabs. Basically, with that one, $25 super chat, usually a super chat, because then you can throw the company name right in there. The only restriction on that one is it can't be a penny stock, and it has to be a stock that has a little bit of history. I had the mistake of not putting these guardrails in, and I ended up getting a stock that was a penny stock and a new stock. So I pretty much had no data. I had to fly by the seat of my pants on that one. So we're gonna let that one go. But yeah, so that is also available. And holy banana bread, as we keep on talking, you'll notice this little bomb thing up here. Now, this is a longer term thing here. So we are going to track our supers through the month. And if we get to 25, then I will be having a teaspoon of bomb on the air. Not looking forward to it, not being honest, but it will be funny for you guys once we get there. So that's what that means up in the corner. We're at 1. We're at 1 right now. So it looks like my taste buds may win this battle at the rate that we're going. So that's always fantastic. All right, let's took a little reprieve there. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes until the bell. Let us quickly go into our heat maps. Looking at Canada, we've got a little bit of everything. Both of the railroads are down. Like, look at CNR down 1.52%. We got a couple of bright spots. Alimentation. And now everybody keeps telling me that I've been saying it wrong. Couche-Tard. They're 2.13% up. BMO's looking good, up 2.04% as well. Gotta love that. So we got a bit of green. And for Vic, we got Constellation Software up 3.90. All right, let's head over here to the US. US, a little bit more red, not as much bright green, but there are a couple of little things. United Health up 1.91. Eli Lilly up 1.78. So we got a little bit. We got a little bit of green, not a lot. And crypto, oh boy. Yeah, this is a lot of green. This is a lot of red. A lot of red. Look at this. Bitcoin down 3%. Ethereum down almost 3%. Dogecoin down 3.42%. Solana down. Looks like 3 seems to be a magic number. XRP though, they're up 2.29%. So we do have a little bit of green. Now, of course, guys, there are about, let's head in here to the green. There are about 15,000, probably a lot more, altcoins out there, as I like to call them. Some of them are kind of crap coins. I always like to just grab one that I've never heard of before. Let's see here. We got Circuits of Value. What is this? It looks like they were doing okay, and then they flatlined. Yeah, not good. No idea what this coin does. Circuits of Value. It sounds kind of weird. Like I said, there's a lot of these crap coins out here. You can invest in something like this if you want to lose money, but they're worse than penny stocks, and I don't like penny stocks. Some of these crap coins are worse than penny stocks. So if you want to invest in crypto, I'm all for it. I'm pretty pro crypto. Don't buy something like that. Stick to the big ones. Stick to your Bitcoins. Stick to your Ethereums, your XRP, Solana, even Dogecoin. Oh boy. All right. So guys, that was our crypto. All right, let's come back. Let's hit the chat while we're working our way towards the bell. All right, RD, first in the room. Happy New Year, all. Snowstorm here in Montreal. Oh boy, I'm just looking out the window because I'm in Ottawa. So those of you who don't realize, Ottawa is not that far away from Montreal. It is not snowing here though, so it looks like it missed us. Jordan is also happy to not have snow, saying you can keep it, RD. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you this, it's bitter cold here. I know this morning I had to take the cardboard out, and it must have been a minus 27 wind chill. So not fun. Ian, it says, good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year. Funny Books says, hello, all. Funny thing is, Funny Books won the second place prize on our 5,000 sub celebration. So Funny Books has asked for a video on quantum investing, and that is going to drop this Friday. Channel members, you'll be able to see that tomorrow, so on Thursday. All right. Mary is in the house, guys, so that means you got to hit that like button. I'm going to have some coffee because you guys are all about to be busy clicking on like buttons while I'm having a sip here. Oh, gosh, that's so good. Hold the bell. I've got the bell right next to me. It's all ready. Jonathan, you got to be here. It's up to you. I can't hold it past 4. Let's see. Larry says it's all mine then. Mwahaha. Vic says hi. Blake says present. Awesome. Vic says don't say heat map. California's burning. Yeah. There's a lot of brush fires all around California. So hopefully they can get that under control. But right now they have the Santa Ana winds, and that's making that situation not too fun. So I certainly hope they get that under control. And Vic says, wow, Trump is going to annex Canada. Well, he wants to. He wants to. In fact, on Truth Social, he actually has started posting his new maps of North America, where it's all the United States. So he seems to. It's funny. It is funny. It started as more of a joke, I think. I think he was initially trolling Trudeau, and then he started thinking about it. That's never a good thing when Trump starts thinking about something, but now he's fixed on it. And he had a crazy press conference yesterday where he basically said he was going to annex Canada by economic force. So that's why we named the show "Strong in the Economic Force," because it's coming. It's coming. Now, I know initially when he was trolling Trudeau, I wasn't too concerned, and plus, I wasn't even too concerned about those tariffs because it's like, okay, he's throwing the tariffs because he wants the border stuff. But now that his desires have moved beyond the border, he doesn't want the border. He wants it gone. So, those tariffs might actually happen. So that will be very, very interesting. And, that will be a lot of pressure on Canada for sure. So, and plus, it's really, really interesting too. I just had to glance at the clock. Polyev, he doesn't even seem to care about Polyev. Like, a lot of us were thinking, okay, maybe when Polyev comes in, he can, being a conservative and, where Trump is right, they can maybe find some common ground. But right now, it's not looking like it. He doesn't want Polyev in control. He wants Wayne Gretzky running Canada, which is funny. So I heard this one story that when he basically brought it up to Wayne Gretzky, before he turned it down, said, "So are you asking me to be prime minister or governor?" So definitely interesting there. But we'll talk more about it. I mean, I'm sure you guys have a lot that you want to say about it. So let's keep going. Paul is saying afternoon. Let's see. Dogecoin is like a clock. Twice a day it is 12. We got Roku from Stittsville. Roku Stittsville here. Afternoon, everyone. And Paul says, good riddance, Justin Trudeau, but he is still here. Yeah, he sort of worded it like basically he's resigned, but he hasn't technically resigned. So technically, he said he resigns at the moment they pick a new leader. So he's technically still in charge. So he hasn't officially resigned yet. He's just put the process in to say, okay, yes, as soon as the leader is selected, I step aside at that point. So until that happens, until we have that leadership convention, he is still he's still the prime minister. He will still be running things. So he didn't appoint an interim leader. It's more or less him until they get a new leader. So, and then that person, once selected, they'll become they'll basically become like sort of like the Kim Campbell of the Liberals. Be in there for a very short term, then we'll have an election and will become a footnote in history, probably. All right. Paul says, and we got about a minute and 10 seconds to the bell. I want to point out, bell is loud. So if you are listening to this, to YouTube here on headphones and you're sensitive to sound, I'll give you another warning quickly. Be aware there is a sound coming up, so you may want to pull out your headphones for it. All right. Larry says, buying 15,000 shares in Hafnia natural gas shipper, dividend now over 25%. With the drop in shippers, we'll get 22.5K in dividends off of 82.5K spent on shares. Only 41K of my own money. Margin costs 3K a year. That's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. So about 30 seconds, guys, until the bell. Ian says, Trudeau can't even quit a job without messing it up. That's why he's still there. Well, you know what? He is a little bit of a narcissist, and he's having trouble letting go. So that is part of how that quitting sort of ended up. So All right, guys, we got 5 seconds to the bell. I got the bell right here. I'm ready. I'm ready. Here we go. All right, market closed. All right, that was a little harder than normal, but I haven't rung it in like 2 weeks. So, I was all rested up for it. All right. JJ says Trudeau is such a snake. He only intends to resign. Yeah, no, here's the thing. If you look at the wording, if something were to happen that they can't complete their, because when you look, if you actually look into the liberal constitution, it has minimum requirements for the length of time to run a leadership campaign, and we don't have that amount of time. So, there's stuff going on, but I still think he's going to step down. He knows his time is done. If he doesn't step down, he'll just get voted out right away anyway. So, he's got to do it. Paul says South Korea seeks to lift a ban on institutional investors investing in Bitcoin. Interesting. That's I had not heard that. The only news I heard out of Korea, I heard a news out of North Korea that apparently it's now illegal to make hot dogs or eat hot dogs or something crazy like that. But yeah, I like it. That's definitely bullish for Bitcoin for sure. JJ says, and only until they find a new leader. I know. All right. Mr. Vic says, as soon as America learns that all signs will have to be in both French English, they will change their mind. um, there's the thing, right? If the US were to do it, if the US, let's just say they annexed us. I mean, the whole French English thing is gone right there. Quebec will be like, oh boy. Yeah, well, except for they'd say, oh boy, in French. It would. I don't think it would go well for Quebec. If anything, I think if they tried to annex, Quebec would probably try to separate at that point. It's like, yeah, let's get out before America takes us. But I don't think it will happen. I really don't think it'll happen. I think right now he's kind of in the this would be a great idea phase, but I don't think he fully understands what it would take for it to actually happen. I think the only way he's going to take Canada, and hopefully this doesn't happen, is if he wanted to actually go to war and say, okay, we're declaring war on Canada. We're gonna send the military in and take over Canada. It's like the American troops would be coming in, and we'd be like going, excuse me, and getting out of their way. It's pretty much how it might be. Yeah, there might be some. I mean, we have a pretty good military, but it would be an overwhelming battle. So, and plus, if we fought back at that point, it'd make a mess of Canada. So I don't know. I don't know what would happen if it ever got to that point. I would just be so glad that I work at home, I guess. Oh dear. Let's say while his resignation speech was such a gaslighting fest, yeah, I don't think a lot of people liked his speech. And certainly I've been watching and it's funny, I've been watching some of the US media, like some of the right-wing media are basically saying, oh yeah, as soon as Trudeau realized that Trump was coming to take Canada, he resigned because he's afraid of him. Um, you know, I think it's, that's very, very secondary. I think he resigned because the fact that, he had all three parties, even his own, basically saying it's time to go. So, yeah. Vic says, yeah, and universal health. Yeah, that would be the big thing too. And here's another reason. I mean, I think Canada, when it falls on the Republican democracy scale, or Republican Democrat scale, I have a feeling a lot of Canada would fall into that Democrat category. So that could upset the wave of the whole balance of power in the U.S. If they were to annex Canada. So that could be something that they might want to take into consideration as well. Vic says, "Will Trudeau come back in a few years?" Oh, I'm sure he'll show up at different things, but I think politically he's done. I don't think he can get elected. I don't think I don't even think he could get elected as mayor of Montreal if he tried. I think he's in trouble. Um, He probably couldn't even get elected as the head of the PTA or something. I think he's done. Stick a fork in him. Paul says Wayne Gretzky, however you spell it, for liberal leader or governor. I know. Well, from my understanding, I think Wayne Gretzky is leans a little bit too right, probably, to be in the Liberal Party. But yeah, why not? Hockey for everyone. That would be fun. Oh, you made it. Absolutely. Awesome. Good. Artie, Happy New Year. Howdy. Let's see. Let Quebec be their own country. Sure. Why not? Celsius will be illegal. Yes, to a certain extent. Now, you got to remember, though, the U.S., even though you look at them, even though imperial is their main form of units, if you look at science, though, in the U.S., if you look at American scientists, they're using the metric system. Metric system is science friendly, and it's more accurate. It's easier to convert things. So yeah, like even if you ever look, like go back. Here's a great thing. Go back to the old Star Trek, like the original, and you'll hear Mr. Spock telling, he would always be telling Captain Kirk that, that object is so many kilometers in front of us. He was using metric. So that, just something to keep in mind. Let's see. RD says, all right, we'll leave that. Let's see. Ian says, who remembers the Quebec separation referendum? When I was a kid, I thought it would be cool, but now as an adult, I don't think it would be good. Yeah, I love Quebec. I live quite literally. I get on the wrong bus and I end up in Quebec. That's where I live. And that's actually happened. So, I would hate to see them ever separate from Canada. I think they're very distinct. I may not speak French, and maybe sometimes, I'm watching something like a political speech and they're not giving me the French translation. And I'm like, no, but, I certainly love Quebec. And Montreal, one of my favorite cities. Nothing I could do, nothing I can complain about with Montreal for sure. Ferris, could you please brief what Trump to do with Canada? Okay, well, here's the thing. Trump makes some good points. I'm going to put that down there. That yes, together, Canada and the U.S. would be a very strong economic power, but his idea of annexation, that's probably not the best way to go. I think if you ever wanted to merge like North America into a single unit, sort of look at what they do in Europe, kind of like the whole European Union thing. You could do that with North America. You could have, and I've heard different people call it like a coin for North America called like the Amero or something. You could have like an Amero, and then you could also have like each side could have their own currency as well. But you would, it basically would be like kind of an economic merge. So you still have two sovereign countries, but you'd be able to have movement across them with the people and with the goods. So there wouldn't be, you wouldn't be dealing with tariffs. Goods would move absolutely 100% freely, and so would people. So if you were like, I'm sick of it up here in Canada, I just want to live where it's warm, you'd be able to like move to New Mexico. No problem. And we'd be able to move a lot of things back and forth. I think that's probably a really good solution. Actual, becoming just one country, perhaps not the best. And that's the thing. As I said, this all started with Trump deciding to troll Justin Trudeau, and he had a lot of fun with it. But then it sort of stuck in his head. Now he's like, maybe I do want it. And he also, of course, wants Panama Canal, and he wants Greenland. Heck, he even sent Don Jr. up to Greenland. So, it's going to be interesting. Now, he talks a big game, and Trump always talks a big game. But when it boils down to it, I think when he starts to look at the feasibility of trying to do a lot of these things, like I don't think it'll happen. I just don't think so. Jersky says, hello, good afternoon. Détrompez-vous. Oh boy. I think I know what that means. Let's see. Paul says, we would save $14 billion in equalization payments from Western Canada if Quebec left. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And that's the thing. I mean, the West, and there's been talks as well. Like there was at one point there was a talk about the Western provinces and a few of the Western states forming their own little oil-rich country. I can't remember what it was named. It was at Moldavia or something crazy like that. But I think it was like BC, Alberta. Um, I think Idaho, Washington, I think also Montana. I think they were all looking at it at one point. It never, of course, made it past the idea phase, but that was something that once had been interesting. Let's see. Q used to be the milking cow, Couche-Tard to the moon. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I mean ATD is one of my favorite stocks, so I'm definitely bullish on them. Let's see. Vic says that's what Alberta said about Trudeau in the 70s, 80s, and Trudeau came back. He has kids, ne sais pas? Oh, yeah. Okay. True enough. I mean, maybe when his son or daughter grows up, we could eventually get a third generation Trudeau. But that'll be a long time from now, a long time. I think many of us will probably be already gone by then, hopefully. Oh dear. Jungle says, in my younger days, most Canadians describe themselves as a not American. Yeah, yeah. And it's actually funny. One of the talk shows I was watching, somebody, the host, she was like, I don't want Canada to join America because I tell people I'm Canadian when I'm out and abroad. And, kind of true. Canada has a much better reputation. Let's see. Paul says, compared to Justin Trudeau, Liberals Paul Martin and Jean Chrétien would be far right. Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, Chrétien he wasn't that bad for a Liberal, but there's been a few that definitely. If you guys remember Stéphane Dion, oh boy. I remember him in his Red Book, and I'll tell you a funny story. He lost an election because of a news reporter actually in Halifax, Steve Murphy. He had an interview with Steve Murphy, and Steve Murphy dismantled him. It was so bad that early in the interview, Stéphane Dion asked if they could have a do-over. And then Steve jumped on that and said, well, in politics, you can't have a do-over. When you're running the country, you can't have a do-over. I firmly believe that one interview, and it's alive on YouTube. If you have never seen that interview and you want to see a politician absolutely dismantled, yeah, you definitely want to watch it. You just have to look up, you can even just look up Steve Murphy and it'll probably come up with that. Basically, Steve Murphy dismantling Stéphane Dion. All right. Paul says USA Bitcoin ETFs took in 17K Bitcoin in 4 days of 2025. Nice. Tanya says, I'm never a fan of Trudeau, but it must suck. It's basically the equivalent of getting fired in front of a million coworkers. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. My GLXY did very well. Yeah, I think I saw GLXY somewhere recently. I think I did. Larry says, turn it into a territory so no voting for president like Puerto Rico or Guam. Ooh, yeah, I'll tell you. If we get annexed and they turned us into a territory, there would be a lot of very unhappy Canadians. So, yeah. I would even say don't make it a single state. If you did annex Canada, I mean, we would be a state that's bigger than the rest of the entire all of America put together. So you'd probably want to maybe at bare minimum 3 states. I would say probably 5 or 6 states, but let's hope it doesn't happen. William Sr. says, by New Mexico, you mean New America. Yeah, well, he did say he wants to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Now, I don't know if he had, no, and I honestly did not look this up, so I do not know. I don't know if he even has the authority to rename the Gulf of Mexico. So, um, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see. Oh boy. All right. All right. And guys, we have we got a $2 dividend from the Banana Bread Company. So that, of course, makes them the GOAT. And it also means the bomb has moved to 2. Yikes. So there we go. Thank you very much, Banana Bread Company, whoever you are, whoever you are. I have no clue, guys, who the Banana Bread Company is. Every so often, I try to reason it out in my head. Okay, who is the Banana Bread Company? But honestly, I just never. Every time I think I know who it is, something happens, and and it guarantees me, and I'm like, nope, nope, it's definitely not them. So I've had about 3 or 4 different suspects, but I don't know. And I kind of like not knowing, even though I'm curious as heck as to who that person might be. All right. Bill says, I think the main reason for wanting Canada is actually for our coastline. As global warming progresses, the USA will want more control of Russia's access through the north. Yes, there's that too. There's a lot of reasons that I would say. For one, coastline, yeah, absolutely. Having all, like, imagine if you had all of Canada's north, and if you wanted to say you wanted to put some silos up there. Well, I don't know though. I don't know how well a silo would be in permafrost. That would be kind of interesting. But you could certainly, there's a lot of defense reasons for holding Canada. That would be good. You would also have control of the Northwest Passage then. Plus, there are so many critical minerals in Canada, so you would have control of all of that as well. Plus, one thing everybody's forgetting, a lot of the fresh water in the world is in Canada. We have a huge amount of water. A lot of the states actually have water shortages. That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. So they could very well also want to get their hands on that water for sure. All right. Hey, everyone, let's get those tendies in 2025. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Jonathan says, I think Trump's saying whatever he can to keep his name in the news. It's working. Yeah, definitely. Any comments on top 3 stocks to buy in 2025? Well, I actually just dropped a video, Ferris, on the top 5 stocks to watch. Now, these here, the ones in this video that are out, I think it dropped yesterday. These are basically your total return stocks, so your big returns. I am thinking about doing an ETF one as well, perhaps for as early as next week. So definitely check that one out. After the show, though, after the show. Jersky says, Bitcoin took a dip the last couple of days. I picked up some BTCY and BTCC. Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's let's just pull this up here once again. It's a big dip. It's a big dip for sure. So hopefully, the nice thing is I think 90K is a really big support level. So I don't think it's going to break down below that. But I am expecting it to turn around sooner than later. I haven't actually did any TA on this fall yet. I kind of wait till it sort of levels out so that I can sort of get some supports that I can look at. All right. Guy says, hi, Candace. I watched your video on TELUS recently. I'm really struggling to hold my holdings in TELUS. Yeah. So the whole telecommunications sector, they have absolutely been struggling. A couple of factors. So as we all know, one of the big factors with telecommunications is that they don't have a lot of places they can go. The market is not that expandable. So that's why, for example, Bell is, buying companies in the United States, trying to get a foothold in there. TELUS, of course, does have TELUS Health, which is fantastic. Rogers, of course, got themselves more of a foothold on the West when they bought Shaw. In addition to that, all this 5G stuff is going on. So right now, urban wise, they've got all the 5G. It's all fantastic. But now the rural 5G, and that's costing them money. So when you look at their earnings and you look at kind of the bottom line, a lot of that money that's disappearing is because of that 5G investment. So as that comes, probably 2026, that will be better. Now, they also have a lot of debt, which isn't great. So the rate cuts will help. And I think we will see some movement to the upside for most of these companies. So for Bell, Rogers, and TELUS, it's not going to be great, but I do think they will have a green year overall. So as for the bottom, I hate to say it. I hate to say the bottom is in again. I know with Bell, every time I've said the bottom is in, they find they go up and buy a new shovel. I think the shovel store is closed now, though. So I'm looking. I'm more optimistic now than I was perhaps a month or two ago. All right, JJ says 3 states: the Great West, the Far East, the True North. Yeah, there. I mean, you could do 3 states, or I mean, look at it this way: we do have, like, for example, the Northwest Territories, Nunavut, and Yukon are technically territories. So that could be, you could split that into a U.S. territory. Then you might be able to have like a Western state. So maybe, BC, Calgary, and then maybe have a prairie state, then sort of an Eastern state. And then I don't know what I would take the Maritimes, maybe push them all into one little thing, and they'd be a small state, but why not? Like, you make them a state, make them a small state. All right. Ian says we are talking about annexation, but realistically, could this ever happen? Well, anything can happen, right? But I just don't think the support would be there. So let's look at, there's only 2 ways he can do this. He wants to do it by, well, there's technically 3 ways, but the third way is never going to happen. That's diplomacy. So I don't think it'll happen through diplomacy. He wants to use, economics to do it. And, if he keeps getting it worse, but you have to keep in mind, we're not going to just sort of sit there and take it. So if he starts going crazy with tariffs, and let's say he goes above the 25%, we will retaliate with tariffs as well. So you'll get a trade war that happens. It won't be great. And I don't think he completely understands how much pain the United States will get back. So, and that's going to make people angry. So I don't think he can do it. And the thing is, worst case scenario, if Canada really had to, we'd only have to hold out for 4 years. Then the new president, whoever the new president is, I'm pretty sure they would be like, okay, yeah, let's give up on this Canada thing. So I don't see that happening. So his only option, if he truly wants to annex Canada in his term, before his 4 years is done, the only way he can do it is with the military. But you do that, and oh my God, I think a lot of Americans would be really, really upset, because it's not like, Canada is an enemy. We're the closest allies. You don't attack your closest allies. So, and he did say that military options is not on the board, at least for Canada. He does say that he will use the military to get Greenland and the Panama Canal if necessary. But nonetheless, I'm like, what the heck? Larry says freedom fries. Yes. Well, yes, French fries at one point. I remember the U.S. decided when they were having some issues with France, it's like, yeah, we're going to rename them freedom fries. Now, Larry, are people still calling them freedom fries, or are they just French fries again? I'm kind of curious. Let's see. Tell us now below March 25th, 2020. Oh, but there's really, and that's the thing. I mean, there's not a lot of room for these companies to fall to. There just isn't. All right. Let's see. Ferris, I'll check for sure. Thank you. Let's see. Please comment about Jasmy coin. All right. I've never heard of that coin. There's a comment, but give me a second here. Let's pull up here. Give me a second. We will go to CoinGecko to see what CoinGecko has to say here. All right. So what is this? JASMY. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Jasmy coin. Oh boy, look at that. It's yeah, it's not worth very much. Now this here is 24-hour. Let me just go back. Let's go back to a year. All right. All right. So it's been going up a little bit. So here's the thing, Ferris. I don't like a lot of these smaller coins if I don't know what they're doing. So if I was interested in this coin, one, I'm going to the white paper. I need to know what kind of function it has and why this coin even has a right to exist. So I need to know that before I could put anything behind it. Now, I'm very weary of a lot of the smaller coins because I tend to call them crap coins. Not all of them are, though. I mean, every coin did start small, but it's kind of that thing where it's like if you were to invest in, let's say, 10 different little coins, maybe you'll get lucky and one of them will stick around. When we go into the next crypto winter, I don't know which one is going to stick around. So I tend to be a little bit more, I tend to be a lot more conservative when it comes to crypto. So, for example, I stick to the Bitcoin, I stick to Ethereum. Um, even other coins like, if I want to go deeper into coins, I'll go into things like, like Polkadot, Solana, things like that. So I'm a little bit leery. I would be, for me, if I was going to get involved in a coin like this, I would be watching it like a hawk. But here's the thing. Sometimes these crypto coins can fall really fast too, especially some of these smaller ones. So I would just be careful with it. I'm not saying it's a bad coin. I'm just saying it's a risky coin. That's kind of where my stance is on it. All right. RT says, too cold here for a U.S. invasion. Penguin blue waving tear. Well, they'd have to wait till the summer, right? But then again, there's a lot of Americans who probably would come in the summer wearing Arctic parkas, thinking it was an Arctic invasion. But yeah, nonetheless, it could be too cold. Let's see. There must be something of great interest up in the Arctic that Trump wants to buy Greenland and Canada. There's a lot of good stuff up in the Arctic. There's a lot of minerals. There's a lot of oil up in the up in the Arctic Sea. Like a crazy amount of oil. So there's a lot of resources there. In addition, it puts you in a very strategically strong position when it comes to Russia because it's just a hop, skip, and jump over the North Pole to get to Russia that way. So, that I don't think Putin would like it very much. But yeah, so we got a couple of things: defense, and resources. And also, I mean, he does want that whole Panama Canal, and he would also gain control of the Northwest Passage. And that, as global, as climate change occurs, even though Trump doesn't believe in climate change, that passage is opening up. It's getting easier. And Canada right now controls it. And that's a major, major, major thoroughfare, as well as the Panama Canal. So, if you could control both of those, you control a lot of the supply and movement of stuff across, going from Asia to North America, or even Asia to, it's actually easier to ship something from like, East Asia, through one of the, either the Panama Canal or in this case here, the Northwest Passage to get it over to Europe. That's actually more easier to do than to go the long way around, going, around Asia, Africa, and all of that fun stuff. So it's major that way. JJ says one Dairy Queen in BC went viral on Twitter for offering $2 giant burgers cooked in order for the Trudeau resignation special. Nice. That sounds pretty cool. It makes me want to have a sip of coffee, though. I don't have a burger, but yeah, cheers to Trudeau's resignation. There we go. The far left and Trudeau supporters went livid. Well, come on, that's like a handful of people, right? Maybe. How many people? I mean, honestly, most of his party turned on him. I don't know anybody. Like, I have not seen a single person online or anywhere that is standing up in support of Trudeau. Maybe his family. Maybe there's a few people here and there, but there can't be that many of them. I think this is one of the few times where all of the parties kind of cheered together. Jay says, let's see, the U.S. now have $36 trillion in debt. If you see Trump looking for loose change in Trudeau's couch, you know what's up. Yes, but he does have the Doge. He has that Doge community there. Department of Economic whatever or government whatever. He has that. They're gonna clean up that debt. That 36 trillion. It'll be gone in no time. Apparently. Larry says we still use it in sarcastic nationalism. It's like yelling out USA, 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 and WTF is a kilometer if you don't make us liberate you. Yeah, exactly. A kilometer, it's like a short mile. It's a short mile. All right. Jasmine is IoT coin. Okay, fair enough. Bleak says, I think that coin is linked to Japan in some way. Okay, well, there we go. There we go. Interesting. That is interesting. I mean, I do like Japan. Let's see. Leandro says, I think annexing Canada would require to change the U.S. Constitution, which isn't easy to do. It needs a strong majority of votes in the Congress and the Senate. Yeah, no, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a hard thing to do. Now, if he were to do it militarily, it would be probably a little bit easier. But nonetheless, it will definitely be very, very difficult. So I think if Canada wanted to be annexed, that might make it easier. But I still think it would be really, really difficult. I think it's going to be one of these things that you'll say, do you remember that time the U.S. wanted to annex us? What can we say? Larry says we annexed half of Syria. Okay, fair enough. But I think Canada is pretty safe. I think we're pretty safe from being annexed. Oh, guys, by the way, just an update here. If you want that Friday market close, we still need 3 more supers to make that happen. Larry says, or at least the oil fields. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Like Canada has a lot of oil, and the oil that we have is very desirable because we have a very good supply of heavy crude, and most of the oil right now coming out of, especially with fracking, is your light crude, and the U.S. does have a need for heavy crude, which is one of the reasons that we supply most of the U.S. heavy crude. They also have the processing capacity down there for that as well. So, we do have a lot of things that the U.S. would like for sure. All right, here we go. Mary is in with a super sticker. That, of course, means that Mary is now let me scroll here to it. Mary's now our goat. She is now the new goat of the day. Fantastic. And it is time to knock it up to 3. Oh boy, we're getting closer to me having a very hot time. A very hot time indeed. Anyway, thank you very much, Mary. And guys, in support of Mary supporting the channel, hit the like button. Larry says, that's why we keep messing with Venezuela, trying to overthrow them for that heavy crude. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. RD says, how many stock ETF do you hold? I don't know. I don't have a direct number, but I know I do have the challenge portfolio that I keep on Blossom. So guys, if you guys have not heard about Blossom, by the way, it is a social media app that is designed for investors. You can go over there. There's lots of conversation, and I keep that portfolio there. So you can go in and take a look at it anytime you want. Also, if you go over there, shoot me a follow because I would love to see what you guys are doing over there. And I try to be as active as possible. It's funny. I actually said to myself, all right, January, I'm going to be super active on Blossom. So I managed to do, I think I did 3 posts for the first 3 days. And then my my phone mirroring stopped working. And I'm like, I don't want to type it in with my fingers. But my mirroring should probably be working now because I just updated my OS this morning. So I'll have to try that a little bit later. So yeah. But yeah, and then there's I mean, in addition to that, there are some retirement accounts. If I had to take a guess, in total, there's probably about 20 different stocks, maybe 5 to 7 different ETFs, maybe over, if I go through everything. But I do love ETFs, but I also really love stocks because, you know, with ETFs, there's not a lot of fundamental. There is some fundamental analysis, but I can't go into the depth that I can with stocks. But I have the time, and the fact that I do this for the channel as well means that to me it's okay. I can spend all of that time because if I'm going to do a deep dive on a stock, I can just make a video out of it at the same time. So that's always a good benefit. And what's nice about that is it gives me that diversification. Now, if I was working full time, and I didn't have as much time, like, I mean full time on something other than YouTube, I probably would be much more heavy into ETFs because you can do some really good, you can get a really good diversification with them, and you can get, excuse me, especially if you're looking at ETFs that go into index funds. So those ones have a lot lower management fee as well. So you can pretty much set and forget them. Something like a VFV, for example, or XEQT or VEQT, or even ZEQT. There's a whole bunch of the all equity ones. VDY to get my Canadian amount. Maybe something like a QQQY, so that they're the evolve one. So example for tech. And then of course there are the cover call ones if you want to start getting a little bit of income going in there. For me, covered calls tend to be mostly situational until once I eventually get to that point where I'm thinking, okay, I want to create that retirement income. Well, then my portfolio at that point will probably shift a lot more to income generating ETFs. So that will be kind of cool. All right. Whew. That was a good amount there. All right, guys, I want to talk a tiny bit about Discord. All right, it's loading. It's loading. Here we go. So good old Discord is a place that you can go to see a lot of different things. And one of the things that I do keep over on the Discord is the schedule. Now, I will, of course, I do post the schedule every so often into the comment, under the comment or the posts tab, I guess you call it, whatever you want to call it. I do post it over there every so often, but I keep it as well up to date over here on Discord as well as Facebook. Facebook groups, we have it there. Just look up Mountain Finance. You can certainly join through that if you're more familiar with Facebook. Or on the Discord, we have a lot more things that that we can do. And look here, let's get this up to date now. We just, this video dropped yesterday. It's gone. All right. And we're doing the market close right now. So it is gone. All right. So that show's coming up this week. We got, we got the quantum investing video dropping here on the 10th. We're 2 supers away from getting getting a market close on the 10th. So that I might have to add that in a little bit later if, depending on what happens here. All right. Let me just hit return. But we have all of this fun stuff, and there's a lot of stuff in here. We're always talking. Paul lives. I think Paul lives on Discord because he is always there. But yeah, it's a great place. Like if you have questions and there's no live stream, head over to Discord. Drop your questions in. It's always fun and fantastic. And guys, let me just give you. I'll give you a refreshed. Here we go. Just give me a second. Let me edit this. Change it to never. It's funny. I generate these never expire links, but apparently they still expire. I don't know why. I'm going to drop one right now into the comments. So if you have not yet joined the Discord, you can definitely do that through that link. Love it, love it, love it. JJ says QQQY hasn't really been tracking QQC much lately. Interesting. I haven't looked directly at QQQY in probably since I did the video. I think that was like maybe 2 months ago. Let's see. I wonder why that is. QQCL is doing much a better job A bit disappointed with QQQY's overall total return in the last 2 months. Yeah, well, QQCL, and the non-leveraged version, QQCC, I've always loved those. Those two have always been kind of fantastic. So, and I know 9, I haven't seen 9 today. So, but I know that 9 invests in those two. I think they have moved most of their stuff over to QQCL. So that is always fun. All right. I love it. I love it. Okay, guys, if you got your last minute questions, we're pushing our way in. Start hitting up the chat with those. I'm gonna have some coffee. We guys think about them. There we go. That's nice. I certainly love the coffee. Uh-oh, we got the banana bread company again in with another $2 dividend. They are taking the GOAT position. They're taking that back from Mary. So we now have a repeat GOAT on the day. And guys, that bomb has just moved up a little bit. So holy banana bread. And thank you again, Banana Bread Company. All right. JJ says, I got QB ticked 35K on margin in USD. More to add. Nice. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, you mean that the QBT kicked is actually currently? All right. Wow. That's quite the autocorrect. But, it almost looked like a cat was typing, but that's fine. That's fine. I love it. I love it. Cats can type some really. It's actually interesting. Every so often, my cat will walk across my keyboard and will do something to my computer that I didn't even know I could do from my keyboard. So, my cat has taught me things before. Usually, it's trying to figure out how to undo whatever it is my cat did. I know one day one of the cats turned on the accessibility, and every time I hit a key and stuff, it was talking to me. I was like, oh my God, how do I turn this off? So I think I actually went and ended up Googling, how do I turn off accessibility on a Mac? So all of that fun stuff. Definitely all of that fun stuff. All right, there was, was there something else I was looking at? Give me 1 second here. All right. Let's close out of that. Yeah, I think that was all I had with the thing, but let's take our final look at the end of the day. We now have all of our end of day data. So look at this line of green, guys. This is not bad. So TSX finished up 0.49%. So that was a nice little climb going into the close. S&P 500 up 0.16, still well below where we need to be to get a green month. I still think they're going to get there. We do have, of course, the second Trump pump as we get closer to inauguration. The NASDAQ, like I said, flat, but in the green. They actually managed to get up to 0.04 above. Not too shabby. Dow Jones also looking pretty good, up 0.25%. Gold in the positive, up 0.53. Silver up 0.28. WTI still not looking great, down 1.23%. And Bitcoin, look at this. Well, we got a little bit of green here coming, so let's see if they can build that up over the night. So see where they get to. There will be some resistance up here around 97K. So we might get a situation where they get back to 97, come back down a little bit, and then move back up. But we'll see. You never know. I mean, the moving averages are resistance or support, depending on which side you're on. But they're also, I don't consider them really strong supports. Not compared to if you get a movement like here, like if you look right here and you see all of this here, you can draw a line right across that. That's actually showing a pretty strong area of support. So just to get a line here, we'll just pull it here like that. So when Bitcoin does break through this and gets back up, we know that that will be one area that there'll be a chance that they may get turned back at like 102 here because of that support. And generally, you may look at it from here and say, okay, but I'm only seeing these little things. But keep in mind, we're on the 1 hour time frame, right? So you could, for example, come back, for example, this here's the 4 hour time frame. Let's just pull it in a bit. You can start to see a little bit more of some of the patterns and some of the supports, and you can actually pull this out over bigger time periods. This green line, this is that all-time high. I like to keep that there so I know if we have broken it. So anyway, that's a little bit with Bitcoin. Don't worry, guys. We will talk more about supports and resistances and all of that fun stuff. It's always there. All right. Roku says, going to bolster up my Canadian positions in my unregistered account. So let's see, XCG versus VCN. Let's take a look at these guys. We'll start with XCG. All right, here we go. So this is your iShares Canadian Growth Index. All right, and this should have a nice 1 year because the market's been doing good. Look at this. This is beautiful. In the last year, from 47 to 56, that's not too shabby. Now, this is not going to have much of a dividend. As you can see here, 0.756. So definitely nothing wrong with this. It is this is definitely a good ETF. And so is VCN. I will say that. Let's pull up VCN now. So this here is your Vanguard FTSE Canadian All Cap. All right. And we'll pull up the year and you'll see it looks pretty similar. So in this case here, you went from 42 to 51. So I imagine that there is comparable. But you are getting more dividends with this one. And that's kind of, I think, where you want to sort of look at it. If the dividends are important to you, then probably VCN. But keep in mind, when you're paying a larger dividend, that's a little bit less money that goes into growth. So I would pretty much, Roku, I would probably just chart the two of them with total return. And I would, I think they're going to be close. I think think both of them are really good. So that's kind of that question, like which one do you prefer? I like Vanguard, but at the same time, also keep in mind too, and I don't know what the management fees are on both of these. So, maybe one of them is charging you more, and that might be something to come into play as well. So I always look at it like that. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, we are coming up towards the end. This is your last chance. As we're in our dying minutes, your last chance for two things, actually. If you are looking for a Friday show, we do need one more super to get that. And our subscriber-sponsored video this month is now pretty much almost over. So there's a couple minutes left if that's something that you are interested in. That one's a little bit pricey though. I mean, $25. So yeah, it's expensive, but sometimes you just want that. You just want that you just want that deep dive on a company that never gets done. And that's kind of funny. I did actually, and this is kind of funny. Just recently, I made this thing. So it's basically just a DJT. Haha, JJ. I made this thing recently, just kind of a map of when I did all my deep dives, because now I kind of get a general idea of who hasn't had one in a while. So we're going to look at that. Now I am changing up a little bit with the deep dives in this year, because as I said, I usually reevaluate things every beginning of the year. So what is changing this year is we'll still have votes. We'll still have some votes, but I'm also going to throw in a couple, just every so often, I'm going to throw in one that just is overdue, without a vote, just for the simple reason that it's like, come on, this is a company we need to get done. So we're going to do that, but I'm still going to throw the votes in there because I like having you guys vote for stuff, because it's fun. And that way there I know basically what you guys want. All right. So yeah, no JD, no Donald. Well, I mean, heck, JJ, I mean, if you put your money where your mouth is, I will do a deep dive on it. I totally would. That could be a very interesting video. All right, guys, we did get our final one. So we now have a Friday stream. And we also, well, I would like to say we have a new goat, but it's just we got like a 3-time goat. So banana bread head, banana bread head, a banana bread company ran the show today. So nothing too shabby there. I'm just gonna pull this away for a moment. All right, and this here is now advanced to 5. So we're 20 supers away from the bomb. Got it right here, all ready to go. Oh boy. I need to bring, and that's the thing. I haven't actually brought the teaspoon up. I'm like, okay, well, I got probably till the end of the month to bring up the teaspoon, but with you guys, you never know. I might need to bring up the teaspoon earlier. So all the fun. And nine, you show, I was talking about 9 earlier. So 9 is in the house, coming in at the last moment. Banana Bread Company IPO. I know. It is fantastic. Andrew says, what are your thoughts on CNR at these prices? I know last month I added a CNR stock because they were down quite a bit. But yeah, CNR, I know they're down a little bit today. Like, what was it? A little over a percent. So yeah, 1.75% here. Let's pull back. I'm gonna pull back their year. So yeah, they've had a rough year. They have had a rough year. I'm still bullish on CNR long term. Long term. If you pull them out, if we go out to like 10 years, you can see generally it is a company that does go up. They're in a bit of a retracement now. Some of that retracement is, they lost money, of course, because of the strikes last August. Then there was the issue that, there was a chance that the strike could happen again. That has recently been resolved, so that's good. But I'm hoping to see them turn this around sooner than later. But looking at today's price, 147, I'm like, oh, I think I paid a little more than that last month. Maybe I should have waited to this month to buy another share of CNR. But I do love CNR. You're never going to be in danger. The only thing I would say with CNR right now is that it might take a few months to get things back in order. So it's one of those, you can buy it and forget it. It will keep going up. I have no worries about it. All right. Roku says, thank you for your input, Candace. CNR has easy comps coming up. There we go. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm bullish CNR long-term. One of my favorite stocks. So I know every so often somebody will says, what is your favorite stocks? That is one that always pops up in my head. And it's not a favorite for dividends. It's not a favorite for total return growth. I can beat CNR in both categories, but when it comes to reliability through pretty much all market conditions, CNR takes the cake. They're recession proof. I like that about them. So this is one of those stocks that if I thought a recession was going to happen, I might actually increase my position in CNR, move from a few of my riskier stocks into defensive. And I'll probably, as I think we're getting closer to a recession, I'll probably drop a video on defensive investing because I think a lot of people don't understand what defensive investing is or how to take advantage of it to protect your portfolio when you start moving into some of the bad times. Let's see. And JJ says, just get VDY if you favor dividends and growth. The best of both, XCG and VCN. What are your favorite? I thought I just mentioned that. Well, obviously CNR. I also like Alimentation Couche-Tard. So I like them. I like BAM a lot. So Brookfield Asset Management. I also love XEG, which is the the iShares capped TSX Energy ETF. So I do love them a lot as well. So yeah, there's definitely I think those are a few at least to get you started. JJ says, or if you want to be more active, copy and rebalance the stock holdings within VDY yourself. Oh, that would be, well, you'd want to use Wealth Simple because unless you can Unless you have a very big portfolio to use, you might need to use some fractional shares to pull that off. But yeah, VDY. I love VDY. I'm just going to leave it at that for now. All right, guys. Once again, we've had another fantastic day. We'll be back again here on Friday, and we'll do this all over again. I can't wait. Friday's going to be awesome. Now, tomorrow, of course, there's no market in the U.S. because of the day of mourning. It's not going to stop Trump, though, from being over there on Truth Social, spewing out whatever comes to mind. But Friday should be a good day. I've honestly got no clue what color day we're going to have Friday. The way the TSX has been going, we could very well have a full green week, but the U.S. markets, it'll be very interesting. So we will see you guys Friday. Until then, take care. Have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your suppers, everyone. All right. Bye, everybody.